Hi there, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine with the greatest cameraman around, Sonny Hersh, and your host, Avi Meyers.
Thank you, Marty. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine. I'm your host, Avi Meyers. I produce it in conjunction with, what's his name? Sonny Hersh, who in his spare time is chairman of the District Advisory Committee of the 24th District, as well as the beat rep of 2413. I happen to be the beat rep of 2412. And by the way, the message boards for 2412 and 2413 have nothing to do with us or the police department. They're being run by politicians for political effect and to rope you in for whoever they're going to try to get you to join and vote for and all the rest of it. Not to mention there's a lot of really mean, sleazy comments from people. And I know this will make so many people so warm and happy when they see it. You know, there's a lot of people that just plain don't like me because I don't like message boards. Because for some silly reason, I think people ought to be directly in contact with the police and not be scratching things on walls and not talking to the cops. So you know what? Call 911 if there's a problem. Go to your community policing meeting. 2412 meets the fourth Wednesday of every month. Sonny Hersh's meetings are the third Tuesday of every month. They switch off between Greenbrier and Emerson Park. If you go to caps24.org, you'll be able to see all the dates and the times for both 2412 and 2413, where you can meet the real-life policemen that patrol the streets and actually share the ideas with your entire family and let everybody know directly what's going on. Now, my next guest needs no introduction, so he doesn't get one. How you doing?
Thank you very much. Sonny who?
Exactly.
I mean, the guy that really runs the show.
Yeah.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yes, Sonny's the guy that really runs the show. Of course, Joe Chuckche is
You're just a stand-in for Sonny, as long as you understand that.
He actually has an electronic control panel in my back, and he's actually putting the words in my mouth as we speak.
Absolutely. This is I mean, your audience is too young.
He'll get in a lot of trouble for that.
Your audience is too young to know who Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy were, but as long as you know that you're Charlie McCarthy.
No question about it. And by the way, just for Sonny's own sanity's sake, you guys need to understand that first of all, I'm the one that edits the show. I'm the one that's responsible for all the content. And if you had any idea how much Sonny and I disagree on issues, it's not even funny. But in any event, this is Alderman Stone, in case for some reason you've never seen the show before and don't have a clue. The very first face you'll see on the new beginning of the show. And you know what? There's so much going on. Now, you know what? Let's talk about neighborhood in general. And let me tell you what I keep hearing from people. And so, well, first of all, let's talk about menu money, because the last time we mentioned menu money, none had been issued yet.
Yes, you're right. Now we had the menu's been turned in, and I really got caught short because I found out a block of piggyback lights cost me $65,000. One block.
And how much did it used to be?
$12,000.
Whoa!
So
there's Chicago in action.
Well, in any event, I still went ahead. This year we'll finish up in Peterson Park. We'll continue along east of California.
That sounds better to me. I'm east of California, guys.
Yeah. Well, east of California, we work from Peterson to Pratt. Well, does that mean you're going to get yours?
I'm on the south side of Pratt.
Yes, you probably will get yours.
That'll be great. Oh, one of the most ridiculous things I heard, by the way, is that well, go ahead. No, you know what? I've heard a lot of ridiculous things. But no, that's great. I'm really happy to hear it.
People ask me, how did you determine where you go? Well, first of all, I want the whole ward to get the piggybacks. First, I happen to believe...
Those are the double lights, which really are nice.
Yeah, well, they're lower down, and they throw a lot of light, and quite frankly, they're a good crime fighter, too. And you guys are involved in crime fighting, working with CAPS, so you understand. And I want to light up the streets. I want it to be very bright. And, what happens is the highlights, the trees cut off the light. These piggybacks are really below the low branches, and throw a lot of the light.
Yeah, they do cut off the light. And as a matter of fact, well, I can't even grow grass during the day because of the trees, which I like the trees. I'd rather have the trees than the grass.
Well, that's the reason I want to put piggybacks all over the ward. In any event, I started at a point, and I'm trying to move in a direction. What I did is I started really at the river, at River and Peterson, and I was moving east, but I had to pick up everything west of the river, which is the Peterson Park area. So now today, after having done Peterson all the way from Peterson to Pratt, the river to California, I went and picked up the Peterson Park area, and now I'm moving east of California. I had previously done some work in east of California when they gave me 2 blocks of piggybacks free, because I did around Greenbrier Park, and I did a couple blocks east of Western where I had particular drug problems or some crime problems. And so I'm not now moving east of California, moving in an easterly direction as far as my money will go. I had to pull off some of the blocks because I have a few streets that are really bad and I had to repave. But I'm limiting the amount of repaving. But some of the streets were so bad I just had to repave them.
Yeah, it's unreal. And you were explaining to me that some of it is actually sewer caving type things.
Well, yeah, most of the really bad things are sewer cavings, which are not covered under the menu. But we're trying to catch up on the sewer cavings. And then, of course, under the stimulus, we had Lincoln redone. Also under the stimulus, California Avenue from Pratt to Devon, we're getting a brand new water pipes.
Oh, great!
Because that hadn't been done since 1924.
So, okay, it was a good 86 years. It had a nice run.
So that means that in that area, if you had trouble getting water pressure, you know why. One of the things that the water department puts out is they put 24, 26, I don't remember. They put out a sheet showing when the last water pipes were put in, what happened in that year. And one of the things that they put out was a picture of Marlon Brando. He was born in the year the water pipes were put in. In any event, the people along California are getting a letter from myself and from the water management department telling them that you're going to be disturbed for a little while we tear up your street because we're putting in new water pipes along California. And that's what's happening there. So that is going to be happening also with monies from the stimulus.
Great.
That's not coming out of
the menu.
But the menu basically is going to go into piggyback lighting. This is
that sounds great because the piggyback lighting really has helped a lot throughout the neighborhood.
Well, eventually, if I'm still alderman, I intend to have the whole ward with piggyback lights.
Today, Pratt and Washtenaw. Tomorrow, the entire 50th ward.
Well, that's the intent anyway.
What about? And I guess this. I know this isn't stimulus. This isn't menu money, but the blue recycling things.
Well, as of right now, we have recycling south of Devon. I kept asking over and over again of the commissioner of sanitation for recycling for the balance of the ward, and he kept telling me, well, we're studying it. Well, hopefully now that we have a new commissioner, we're going to get it. I've been talking to
Is that Tom Byrne?
Tom Byrne is the new commissioner.
Our former commander and a guy I really love.
Well, so do I, and I have, of course, a better relationship with Tom Byrne.
Yeah, I got to get him on the show.
So I'm hoping that...
Hi, Tom.
I'm hoping that Tom will give me the blue
recycling carts
for the rest of the ward.
Yeah,
because a lot of people have asked about it, and all that's holding me back is the Commissioner of Streets and Sanitation.
Well, one of the things that I was told by somebody who's involved with the North Side Alliance is that the reason we have those blue carts from Devon to Peterson is because of them.
They have absolutely nothing to do with it.
That's what I explained to the individual. I mean, one thing about them, though, you know what? If you're going to, somebody said if you're going to dream big with the North Side Alliance, if you're going to lie big.
Well,
and they do.
They have absolutely nothing to do with it.
They don't.
The North Side Alliance, for instance, focuses basically on the area east of Western. So why did they get the blue carts for the area east of Western?
They don't. You know what? They
haven't figured that one out yet. Huh?
You know what? They'll just, if something gets done, they'll take credit for it. I saw
Of
the
course.
same thing at the 2412 meeting. There's. You know what? I'm not going to get into specifics because it's too petty to even mention on the show. But people are taking credit. People do something and they see something happen and they take credit without having any idea at all whether or not they had anything to do with it. And the truth is, in most cases, they absolutely didn't. It's just kind of wish. People have this Walter Mitty fantasy wish that they're really moving things.
Yeah, years ago, when I was a precinct captain, I used to do the same thing. So,
Well, you weren't my precinct captain, and I don't even know if I was born then.
No, I don't doubt if you were.
It's possible.
I've been in politics since 1952. So
actually,
that's 57 years ago. So
I was first in the public eye in 1953 in the Chicago Tribune. I was the Bunny Graph Studios Charming Child of the Month.
Were you born?
I was a baby.
Well, I was a precinct captain in 1952.
But I don't think I was. You were covering South Shore. You know who my precinct captain was in South Shore? As a matter of fact, Herman Moses.
Well, I knew Herman.
Former president of the War Veterans.
Herman was the
Corporation Council.
Herman was also he was the national commander of the Jewish War Veterans.
Yeah.
And while he was national commander, he appointed me national legislative officer of the Jewish War Veterans.
Nice.
So.
But you know what? We have limited time. There's a couple more subjects I want to cover. So you know what? Speaking of lies in the North Side Alliance, I'm going to tell you something I bet you don't know.
Okay.
You might not know part of it. We were talking before a little bit, and I said, let's save it for the air. Because you know what? Sometimes we have great conversations off the air, but when we say things off the air, we don't always say them on the air.
Yeah.
This time I want to have a good conversation on the air. So a lot of you have been asking me and all the rest of it, and I always tell you, it's like, look, I asked the alderman on the air, and that's what is. People, if you think that the alderman and I, sometimes I call him on the phone a little bit lately, but the truth of the matter is probably 80 to 90% of our conversations are actually on the air that all of you can see uncut. And these shows are uncut. The whole interview runs uncut, unedited, and so does everything in the show. Unless somebody swears, I'll bleep out the word. Or ask for money. We're not allowed to do that. So, okay. 4 years ago at this time, nobody heard of Naisy Dolar. Okay? So many people in this community, okay, who thought they were doing idealistic right things, went to work for Naisy Dolar figuring they were making this a better neighborhood, a better America, and a better whatever else. Okay. Speaking of the North Side Alliance and alliances. Now, in the meantime, Naisy Dolar is running a barbecue restaurant in Tampa, Florida. Her husband, who was a police officer, he had a positive test, and they divorced. She moved out of town. In the meantime, the place, and you probably don't know this part, the place where she was holding all her rallies, B Bagels.
Yeah, well, I know about him.
Well, I think they've been closed down. I think they've closed down since.
Yeah, but he's in the Metropolitan Correction Center.
Right, and as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, it was a federal indictment, and it was actually in the Jerusalem Post. And these people were basically taking the stimulus money. You know what? Not the stimulus money. Bush was giving $600 rebates. This group of people put together a list of all the federal prisoners. And according to the indictment, which is a lot more pages than I read, but from what I read, They got in over $1 million at $300 and $600 a shot for federal prisoners. So you know what? Okay, Naisy basically leaves town in disgrace. Okay, the place where she held all her fundraisers, they're under federal indictment right now.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're not, just because somebody smiles at you, rings your doorbell, and says hi, doesn't mean they're a good guy or a nice guy or they're worth your vote or they mean any good for you. Yeah. The one thing that impressed me about Naisy Dolar the first time I met her is that she does have the balls it takes to be a politician because she can lie to my face and smile at me, and that's a talent.
Well, look, I'm not gonna say anything bad about Naisy, nor am I gonna say anything bad about Mr. Berkowitz, but he is in the Metropolitan Correction Center. I don't think he's been convicted of any crime.
No,
at this
just
point.
indicted.
His father.
Well, actually, his father-in-law, if I'm not mistaken.
His father.
Because actually, you know what? There's a son-in-law.
No, excuse me. It's his father will be the second person in the entire history of the state of Israel that will be extradited to the United States.
Meyer Lansky was the other.
It's correct. He'll be his father, Mr. Berkowitz, will be the second person in the history of Israel. The first one being Meyer Lansky.
Meyer Lansky, the famous mafia guy that's actually alluded to in the Godfather, Sopranos, all that stuff.
His father is the second one to be indicted and be extradited by the state of Israel.
Wow. Now, by the way, just so you know that there were unfortunately sons and son-in-laws in that indictment, both. And one of the son-in-laws is actually named Berkowitz.
Yeah, well.
But anyway, but you know what? The whole point of this is that I want people to not just look at a smile and a friendliness and maybe a free bagel or whatever and say, this guy's a wonderful guy.
I'm not saying he's not a wonderful guy.
He could be a wonderful guy. But all I'm saying is that what I'm trying to say is...
A man is innocent until proven guilty, and the public should remember this. Do not accept an indictment as a conviction. And I will not say anything bad about the man. He has been indicted, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's guilty.
Okay, well, actually, I'm not saying that, but all I'm trying to tell people is you need to look beneath the surface. You need to really examine the issues. Now, there's we were talking a little bit earlier. There's, of course, the race for alderman is about 1.5 years away. Right now, what's your status?
Well, I haven't made up my mind as yet. Everybody says, "Well, Bernie, you're in your 80s." I am in my 80s. I'm not. I don't apologize for my age. I'm delighted.
No, may you live many more years till 120.
I'm delighted to have lived this long.
It's probably the Skippy peanut butter cups.
I don't.
Oh no, is that Skippy Reese's? I'm sorry.
I don't eat them anymore. Since that peanut butter's problem, I'm afraid to eat them.
Oh, okay.
So I want to keep on going, but in the meantime, my brain still functions, and I don't see any reason why I shouldn't run again if I decide I want to run again. I think that, however, there is a bit of a problem with a large part of the general public, in that there is such a thing called age discrimination, believe it or not. There's all kinds of discrimination, and one of the discriminations is age discrimination. In fact, that's one of my problems with the president's health program, because quite frankly, the program discriminates against people, elderly people.
Let me, you know what? Well, I want to give you, and I didn't discuss with you either. I want to give everybody here, with you sitting here. Now, I didn't ask any of these people directly, or none of these people really said to me directly that they're running or not running. But I hear a lot of stuff from a lot of people. I also see how people are acting. I've seen people, the way they look and the way they're primping to run for alderman. I'd like to give people a list of people that either are. I'm not saying that any of these people are actually running for alderman, except Greg Brewer, who still has an active campaign fund, who is mentioned directly in that guy's column, Russ Stewart.
Well, Greg Brewer, he's been running against me since long before the last election. He's opposed almost every single thing I've been in favor of. He's been.
I think it's automatic that if you're in favor of
If
something,
I'm
he's
in
going to
favor,
be against it.
there's no question of that. And quite frankly, he is the epitome of someone who's against anything, not for a reason, but just because I'm for it. And that's not progress, and that's not a thinking man. And quite frankly, he didn't sell himself in the last election, and he'll never sell himself because, quite frankly, he's a loser. And that's my opinion of Greg Brewer.
Now, I'm going to, before you cut me off with the other names we'll talk about, let me make the whole list first.
Okay, go ahead.
And I didn't originate any of these names, okay? Yeah. I did not figure this guy's running or that guy's running. These are names I've heard from other people.
Okay, go ahead.
Or friends. So here's the list. Okay, from the Jewish side of life, I've heard Maureen Swear from the North Boundary Homeowners, Jennifer Elbaum, who's involved with the Indian Boundary crowd. Mike Moses has been mentioned, who's run before. And by the way, I'm aligned with absolutely nobody at this point.
3 times against me. Go ahead.
Right, and I'm not. I like Mike. Mike's one of my best friends. I'm not working for him in any elections. I'm not working. Matter of fact, I don't work in elections. Period, people. Just so you know. I've heard. Well, Greg Brewer I already mentioned. There's the same guy, the Aftab, who ran. Zalman Aftab has talked about it. There's definitely talk that there'll be perhaps a different Indian and or Pakistani candidate running.
Yes.
I've also heard the name Rich Consaldi, who's the beat rep for 2411, as somebody who's who very well might be interested in running for office. And let me remind people, too, that 4 years ago, none of us heard of Naisy Dolar, so we don't know what might come up out of the work. And I'm missing 2 names here. The 2 names I'm missing are Deborah or Ira Silverstein.
Yeah.
Deborah being the wife of Ira Silverstein, and Ira's basically talked in Russ Stewart's column, alluding that he very well might be interested in running. And Deborah, I think he'd like to be there because that would give them 2 jobs that way. Deborah has shown up at more public meetings. She's not really a public person. She's not really a smiley public, greet the people type. Ira might want to stay closer to home. By the same token, too, I will tell you that I spoke to a leading election lawyer who shall go nameless to find out if you can be both jobs at the same time.
Can't.
And actually, the opinion I got is it's a maybe. It'll go to court for sure.
No, it's specifically provided for in the state code. The state code says specifically you cannot serve as an alderman and hold another elected position.
Now, haven't there been mayors that have served as state representatives?
They may be mayors of other times, of other cities, but not of the city of Chicago. Don't forget, the city of Chicago is a city over 500,000, and the cities over 500,000 have special rules.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Okay.
And the city of Chicago specifically provides that you cannot serve as an alderman and hold another elected position, and that is in the state statutes.
I would also like to point out, thank you, I would like to point out also that the Northside Alliance will definitely be backing an aldermanic candidate. They are a political organization. Well, I want to just make sure that people understand, they know that this character, John Hoffman, who has written about Jews in code on those message boards. He refers to us as the West of California and who cares about them people, and definitely showing serious anti-Semitic streaks, as and Ann Glopp has written the West of California stuff together with him. Not to mention...
She's been writing that for years, so that's not
no question. And when it comes to CAPS, John Hoffman, who actually ran for the position of beat rep, says CAPS is of very little use. So let's understand where these guys are coming from. So I just want to make sure, every year after National Night Out, I feel the need to mention those 2 in particular along those lines.
You left the candidate out that is constantly mentioned in the Natick newspapers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who did I leave out?
You left out the candidate that has been mentioned for the last 3 elections.
The last 3 elections? Tell me.
Alana Feketish.
Oh!
Well, she's not running for alderman.
That's your daughter.
She's not running for alderman, whether I run or not. She's not running for alderman, period.
And believe it, people. Okay, you know what? That's why I didn't bring it up, because frankly, I've never believed that stuff.
Of course, it's a figment of Russ Stewart's imagination,
among other people. One of the things I've got to say about your enemies is you got to give credit where credit is due. Their imagination about the big lie is really fantastic.
Oh yeah,
and they're really good at. It's like you want to knock him. There's stuff. Why not knock him on the record? Why knock him for mystery, magical, imaginary stuff that. Look at the record and see what's going on. I'm just saying that there's stuff there that you can praise and there's stuff there that you can knock, whatever you like. But the fact is, do it on some real ground. And by the way, speaking of some real ground and what's been on the ground, I got to at least touch base a little bit. You know what I heard last night? It's like, and I've noticed this myself. I've even talked to you about it recently. There's just too much. There's too much junk and gunk in the neighborhood. People doing stuff on lampposts. And all these carts, all these illegal carts. It's illegal in the 50th Ward for street peddlers, and they're all over the place.
It has been for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I introduced an ordinance, this is about 1990, that prohibits any peddling within the boundaries of the 50th Ward. And that was within the boundaries of the 50th Ward in 1990, and I reintroduced it after 2000, the 2000 redivision of the ward to update the boundaries of the 50th Ward.
Now,
that has not changed. Peddling is not allowed within the boundaries of the 50th Ward.
Is that something you can do something about, or is it that
I'm not
up
a
to
policeman.
Police?
It's up to the
So
police.
that's up to the police. 'Cause you know what? Right
Actually, I used to have the ward superintendent enforce it. Unfortunately, for the last year and a half, I have an acting ward superintendent, and I don't have the regular ward superintendent.
So can't you kick this guy to start doing stuff?
Quite frankly, he's busy with other things.
I'll take the job for a month. I'll kick everybody's ass. Don't worry about it. I'm not.
And I got to tell you that with the cutback due to the budget, it's a little hard to do it. But my ward superintendent used to enforce these things. In fact, we got to the point where he was even threatening to, where you have these guys who work off the back of a truck. He was threatening to seize the trucks.
Which is great. But what can we do to start that kind of stuff going again?
One of the things we could do is, once my ward superintendent beats these phony charges against him and comes back, I'm going to get him to work together with consumer. I don't know what the new title of the consumer office is, and get him to work with them. And
no street peddlers, the garbage, all the rest of it.
Get them to force it.
At this point, by the way, I want to thank Joe Chuckche very much for bringing you.
Let me finish now.
Oh, please.
You wanted me to talk about the election.
Yeah.
Of all the candidates you named, the one that hurts me the most is Mike Moses, because Mike ran against me 3 times. I beat him 3 times. I supported Mike because Mike had run for office maybe 5, 6 times, but I supported him in a real serious challenge. And we did well. We won the 50th Ward.
You won the 50th Ward, and that was for state rep against Lou Lang.
Yes. And if Mike now, if I decide to run again, if Mike now runs again against me, that would bother me greatly.
I could understand that.
And that would bother me. As far as Ira's in leadership in the Senate. Why would Ira run against me? I think that's a silly rumor that Russ Stewart has manufactured. If Ira would decide to run his wife, that would be another case of nepotism, like we've seen in various offices, like down with the congressman. So I don't believe it.
Okay, we're running out of time. I want to thank you very much, Alderman Berny Stone. Thanks to Chuck J. Thanks, Sonny. Hi, Kathleen. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.